Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Ryan Friend from Dust2.us. I am here with Crown is Cool, who runs the EGL Premier League. It's a amateur league that has really grown up in popularity in the last few years, and this last year was probably one of the best ones that we saw. There was a $5,000 prize pool. You've really kind of grown this into something massive that a lot of NA is now really taking a focus of. So the most impressive thing to me, obviously, was you're still so young, you're running this, and I really wanted to just figure out, what is this league? How did you get into it? And what's going on? Who are you and how the hell is this happening?
Yeah, so my name is Crown. My real name is Amar. My IGN is Crown. I'm 17 years old. I started doing tournaments when I was about 12, I would say. I was doing CSGO tournaments with Golden League, Olympus, all of them. Recently, December of 2021, I realized that all the other tournaments that were alive or when I was helping them, they all shut down. So I felt bad for the NA scene, right? So I wanted to make EGL Premier, wanted it to become one of the best NA tournaments there are, and where anyone can show their skill. Because these open teams, they might have skill. You never know. There's a lot of examples of that. But yeah, that's most likely it.
So I'm just okay. So to go back, you were 12 years old is when you started to get into these leagues, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so at 12 years old, how are you getting this experience to be running it or to be knowledgeable enough to do it? Like how are they looking at you at 12 years old saying, yeah, you know what, this is someone that we should bring on the team?
I didn't really tell anyone my age. I watched a lot of ESL, everything Blast Premier. That was really what inspired me. Even FRAG17, I used to watch them on Twitch all the time. That's what inspired me to make tournaments. I wanted to be like them. They were really one of the best people, the best types of organizations that helped me to start this journey.
So you said, what were the first few leagues that you said that you were involved with?
Golden League and Olympus. And I did a CSGO minor league a couple years back. That's when I was 12. I did my own league. But then after that, I started joining other leagues to help them out. But yeah.
So with those leagues, what were you doing that was giving you this opportunity to learn and grow? I mean, it seems like everyone tries to be like, oh, I can do social media, I can tweet, but were you trying to do more operations and stuff like that?
I was doing everything. I mean, for Golden League, right, I ran the brackets, I did all the work, I did the tweets too, I set up the Twitch. I just got used to doing everything. So EGL right now, I only have 2 staff, and I'm basically still doing everything because it's I'm so used to it, and I got just into the flow of it.
So, I mean, you're still in high school. How, even as a young kid, that's middle school stuff. How are you so confident, I guess, at the point of where you are creating these leagues and you feel like you have this ability to host something like this?
I'm really confident, honestly. If I'm doing this at 17, next year I'm going to host a LAN. I want to help the NA scene so much where there could be LANs every month. To the point where there's so many people, even from worldwide, they come in from EU, South America, everyone just come in together, showcase their skill, and we provide a platform for them to showcase their skill.
So I guess some of the questions that I am really curious is that you've gotten a lot of these different sponsors to obviously come into these leagues. With your Twitter profile says that you're 17. They've got to know now, if they're doing any sort of research, how young you are. How are you convincing literal sponsors of saying, here's money for prize pools? How are you even reaching out? How do you just, I know how to reach out and do that?
So I struggled. Yeah, I told them I was 17. They're like, there's no LLC. They're like, I can't sign a contract with you. But there are some tournaments, such as Gamers Club. They helped me a lot. I reached out to them. I told them I was 17. They wanted to expand into the NA scene, and I was a perfect outlet of that because they saw my experience before with Golden League and helping out other leagues as well. I mean, it was a struggle getting sponsors. I reached out to hundreds of sponsor companies. Most of them said no, but thankfully Gamers Club said yes, and they were the actual reason why EGL Premier came back with a $5,000 prize pool, and hopefully in the future we'll have such a bigger prize pool.
So with EGL now getting to this point, I mean, a lot of that was focused on the advanced teams. I'm kind of curious, why did you choose specific dates for that? What was the thought process behind it? And knowing that the calendar can be so crazy with a lot of different events, how have you figured out to have certain specific time frames?
So I reached out to ESEA actually. I asked them what was the schedule for each season. So what I wanted to do is during the player break, I would be hosting those tournaments, and it would run into the ESEA season, but not to playoffs where it's a serious match that they have to verse against. So I wanted to schedule a whole year around the player breaks, so people can also teams are not going to join because it's player break, but also they can stay warmed up for the next season.
You do after just hearing you talk a little bit, you do seem to have a lot of that confidence. You're full of energy. It's vibrant. It's kind of cool to see. Why not, I guess, work for another tournament organizer like FRAG17, like Nerd Street, like ESL or Blast, and try and use that experience with them? Why try and stick it out on your own in creating this?
I don't know. I really had like a passion for it, so I just wanted to do it myself. I wanted to see how much it would grow. I wanted to be proud of myself for doing this. Like it's been a grind, and I don't want to quit right now. Go to FRAG17. FRAG17 is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I still wanted to do it on my own because I know how to run my tournaments and stuff. It could be different than Frag how they usually do it. So I just wanted to keep it like my own type of project.
Okay, I mean, interesting. Yeah. So when you're gonna think about college. How are you gonna, I mean, college is a big deal. I know when I was back in high school, I was juggling a lot. I would do sports and I would have classes and I had the extracurriculars. I mean, how are you trying to juggle all of these types of things?
So right now, hopefully, I'm aiming to get in college for track, throwing a discus, and also esports. So I want to become a medical student, but also balance my discus and esports. I know it's a lot, but I'm used to it. Like ever since I was 12, I was used to like all the stressful like problems, complications that came up with the season. So I'm just like used to handling everything. Even during school, I hosted EGL events. I managed to do it. I had help with from a lot of people, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep going.
I mean, it's certainly impressive that you're able to kind of do all this. So with EGL, I mean, where are you figuring that this thing is going to continue to go? I mean, you'll have all these other obligations. Do you see yourself expanding it? I mean, with the recognition that you're kind of finally getting now, I think the semis and grand finals made it onto HLTV, which is always very exciting for visibility. So where do you see this project growing in the next few years?
I want to stick in NA. I want to do LAN events. I want to do also online events, but also get teams from worldwide so people can get experiences. So you never know. A team can go to the major right now and versus an EU team, and they already have experience from, let's just say, an EGL LAN or an online event.
Okay, so that's okay. But for the next year, are we thinking bigger prize pools? How are we thinking of more teams like that? Or are you looking to expand just the amount of people on staff? How else are you looking to expand? I mean, when you talk about LAN events or more online events, that's a huge undertaking. Like a LAN it's a lot more hard. It's a lot harder, and I know because I've helped do Mustache Masters, even that doing an in-studio thing. It's tough.
I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I'm just gonna still do it. I want to increase the prize pool to which I can host qualifiers for these online tournaments or leagues like Champions of CS:GO Tour.
It's Champions of Champions Tour.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, what they're doing is amazing for the NAC, and they're doing online events and their LAN events and then major events. I want to do something like that, but also mainly stick into the NA region. Sure, I see myself basically in 5 years hosting LAN events, but also focusing on college.
I mean, you're saying you want to be a medical student. I have friends right now that are doing PhD MDs to be medical, and it's a tough thing. I remember the bio classes and stuff like that. I mean, I guess the other problem is, what are you going to primarily focus on? I mean, college is going to be tough, and do you see yourself maybe scaling that back if EGL really becomes something that is bigger and kind of more than you?
I would probably expand my operations team, make sure each tournament I could get someone to host it for me, but I could oversee it since I won't have a lot of time because of college. But I think I would have time. I mean, for the summer, I'm not going to have a semester, so I could host 4 LANs in the summer. I know it's a big range, but
hosting 4 LANs in a summer is when? What is your time frame? What are your 10 years? Okay.
10 years after I finish college, of course, I would have time, a lot of time, but also medical student as well. What's it called? Yeah. Sorry.
I know. You sound so ambitious, and I'm trying not to come down on your ambition. It's just I hear it, and I can see that you love esports, and you do love it. I mean, what brought you not only into esports but into Counter-Strike? We all have our story, and I'm curious, how did you really get into this specific atmosphere?
Okay, so when I was 6, I played CS Source. My brother used to be an absolute maniac on that game, so I saw it on the computer. I'm like, hey, let me play this game. I fell in love with it. I just fell in love with it. I've played it ever since I was 6 until now, and I just fell in love with watching ESL, Team Liquid, Nitro. My face-it name is literally Nitro. It's literally...
Wait, no, you're the kid with the face... Okay.
Not exactly like that, but it's I've watched CS for a long time, and just that passion to create a tournament and having great viewership and good content for everyone to watch is just an amazing feeling.
I'm just continuously kind of blown away the way that you're talking about this. It's impressive. So you think that post-college, I guess, then what's the game? Do you want this to be a full-time thing of hosting, organizing? I mean, are you even personally making any money off of running these events right now?
I'm not making a lot of money. I'm like reinvesting everything into EGL because that's what you have to do. You can't just take money and expect it to still grow. You need to reinvest it, get a great production team, get great staff. You have to pay everyone, of course. But no, I'm not making a lot of money off of it.
Do you pay your people that you already have on here?
Some of them, yes.
I mean, we understand it. There's a lot of volunteerness that happens with us. I remember for FRAG17, I came and I volunteered a lot. The original casters that would be here would also volunteer their time, so it's understandable. You're growing, but how do you see, I guess, that as prize pools get bigger and bigger, right, with the 5,000, do you feel that there is going to be a need where you have to start making this more of a full-time thing, not only for yourself, but for others that put a lot of their time into it?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, of course, but I could always hire people to run the tournaments for me. I could just oversee it still, of course. I'm not going to have a lot of time starting into college, but when I do have time, I would love to host tournaments. I see this going maybe even past college. It just depends on how everything goes, of course. But no, I see this going past college, past like staying here for another 20 years.
Well, all right, Crown, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You taught me a lot about this. It's super interesting. All right, guys, make sure to continue to check out dust2.us on our YouTube channel and the website for all the exclusive interviews and the continued coverage of FRAG17 over the weekend. See ya.